There's a growing number of people sleeping on London's streets. Homeless charities say many of them have found themselves without somewhere to live in the past year and are sleeping rough for the first time. There's also been a rise in the number of women among them. Here's John Ironmonger.
Rough sleepers going nowhere. Successive governments have tried to solve the homelessness crisis. In September, the Communities Secretary said they were winning the battle.
It is a result of the Rough Sleeping initiative that the government launched last year. The number of vulnerable people sleeping rough on our streets has been reduced by a third.
But here in London, rough sleeping remains a critical, deepening problem, as data gathered by a network of outreach groups suggests someone is becoming homeless 22 times a day.
The fact that more people are coming onto the street, more new people are finding themselves homeless and eventually rough sleeping, that in itself is it's a tragedy, it's a scandal by any estimation.
Figures show that the number of new rough sleepers in London in the second quarter of 2018 rose by 50% compared to the previous year, while the total number of rough sleepers in the capital increased by 28% over the same period to nearly 4,000. Most rough sleepers were non-UK nationals, and 18% of those recorded in this quarter were women.
So up here we have 4 rooms.
This winter shelter in Hackney supports a growing number of women in the borough with nowhere to live.
They didn't know each other before they came here.
It's part funded by the GLA, but relies heavily on donations and volunteers.
We've had women who are escaping domestic violence, human trafficking, people whose relationships are simply broken down, people who don't have any access to public funds, and one woman who's been sleeping on night buses.
You take another.
Changes to housing benefits, rising rents and a lack of affordable homes are thought to be helping to drive this increase in new rough sleepers. And one of the residents here told me she slept in a church for months after losing control of her finances.
We eat dinner, we take breakfast, then when we come back in the evening, we have people, volunteer people, taking care of us.
A government spokesman said £25 million was being invested into rehousing schemes and council initiatives to address rough sleeping in the capital. But for now, thousands of Londoners are facing another winter without shelter. John Ironmonger, BBC London.
A toddler has died